There is a strange problem that often happens to smart people. They know a lot, they learn quickly, they read books, take courses, analyze everything, and constantly try to improve themselves. But somehow their income stays the same. And sometimes the problem isn't a lack of knowledge, it's actually the opposite. They know so much that they keep waiting until they are ready. They think just a little more experience, one more course, I need to learn a little more first, and then they'll finally start. But that moment never comes. Today I want to talk about 7 traps that can keep smart people from turning their knowledge into real results and money. And you might recognize yourself in one of them. The first trap is always feeling like you are not ready yet. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to offer your skills to people. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, launch a product, ask for a rise, or finally make money from something you are good at. But then you think, I just need to learn a little more first. So you take another course, read another book, watch another video, and then you discover 10 more things you don't know. So you keep learning, and this can go on for years. The problem is that you may never feel completely ready, because the more you know, the more you realize how much you still don't know. And that's why sometimes a person with less knowledge starts faster than someone who knows much more. The first person says, I'll try. The second says, I'm not good enough yet. But you don't have to know everything to be useful. If you know something better than someone else, you already have something valuable. So instead of asking, am I ready? Ask yourself, what can I do with what I already know? Start with what you have, where you are, and keep learning as you go. The second trap is wanting everything to be perfect from the beginning. And this one is tricky because perfectionism can look like ambition. You want to do a great job, you want high quality results. But sometimes perfectionism is simply fear of putting yourself out there. You write something and rewrite it 10 times. You record the video but don't post it because you think you can make it better. You create an offer and keep changing it. You have an idea but spend months working on the details. And eventually something happens. You've done a lot of work, but nothing actually comes out into the world. And the world can't respond to something it never sees. You can create the perfect product on your laptop, but until you show it to real people, you don't get feedback, you don't get experience, and you don't get results. So sometimes you need to stop trying to make everything perfect. Let the first video be perfect. Let your first offer be a little messy. Your job at the beginning isn't to prove that you are perfect. Your job is to get into the real world and learn from what happens. The next version will be better. The third trap is endless analysis. Smart people are really good at thinking of different scenarios. What if this happens? What if this doesn't work? Maybe I should do it differently. Maybe I should learn more first. Maybe there is a better strategy. And it feels like you are working. You are researching, planning, comparing, thinking, but weeks or months can go by and nothing actually happens. Because there is always one more thing to think about. And here is the problem. Thinking feels productive, but thinking is not the same as doing. So give yourself a limit. If you have an idea, give yourself 24 to 48 hours to turn it into one real action. You don't have to launch a whole business. Just send a message to a potential client. Post something, record a test video, create the first version of your product, offer your service to someone. Do something that takes the idea out of your head and into the real world. This one is very common. You know how to do something, it feels easy to you, so you think everyone knows this. But they don't. Something that feels completely obvious to you might be extremely valuable to someone else. Think about a person who has worked in one field for 5 years. They've done the same things so many times that those skills feel normal to them. Then someone new comes along and says, I have no idea how to do this. And suddenly you realize what feels easy to you might be a real problem for someone else. So try this. Write down everything you know how to do. Not just your degrees or official qualifications, everything. What are you good at? What do people ask you for help with? What can you do faster than most people? What did you struggle with a few years ago that now feels easy? Then ask yourself, which of these skills could solve a problem for someone else? Because that's often where money comes from. Not simply from what you know, but from how useful that knowledge is to someone else. Now let's talk about something a little deeper. Sometimes a person really wants to make more money, but at the same time, they are afraid of what comes with it. More clients, more responsibility, more attention, more decisions, more pressure, more people expecting something from you. And because of that, they stay in a situation that feels safe. They don't take the bigger project. They don't raise their prices. They don't promote themselves. They don't ask for more. They don't make themselves visible. So ask yourself honestly, do I really not have an opportunity to make more money? Or am I afraid of what happens if I do? Because sometimes the problem isn't the lack of opportunity. It's that the next level requires you to become more visible, more responsible, and more confident in your value. And that can feel uncomfortable. But if you want a different result, you have to become comfortable with doing things that feels a little uncomfortable. This is another huge trap. You think once I feel confident, I'll start. But confidence usually doesn't work that way. Confidence comes from action. You do something that scares you and realize you survived. You ask for more money and someone says yes. You post your first video and people actually watch it. You get your first rejection and realize your life didn't fall apart. And the next time it gets a little easier. So don't wait until you feel completely confident. Act without confidence. Let confidence become the result of your actions, not the condition for taking them. And this brings us to the biggest problem of all. You can know a lot. You can understand business. You can know how social media works. You can study marketing. You can read dozens of books. You can create the perfect strategy. But if all of that stays in your head, nothing changes. Because knowledge by itself doesn't create results. You can know exactly how to grow a YouTube channel, but until you post the video, you don't have a result. You can know how to sell, but until you make an offer to a real person, there is no sale. And this is often the difference between someone who knows a lot and someone who actually gets results. The second person isn't necessarily smarter. They just turn knowledge into action faster. So here is a simple rule you can try. Every day do at least one thing that can be shown, sold, or tested. Don't just think about it. Don't just plan it. Don't just learn about it. Do it, publish it, offer it, ask, call, test, launch. Because one real action can teach you more than hours of thinking. And if you recognized yourself in these 7 traps, maybe you don't need more knowledge right now. Maybe you already know enough. Maybe it's time to use what you know. Don't wait until you become the perfect version of yourself. Start with the version of you that exists today. Because the next level usually doesn't come before you take action. It comes because you take action.